Welcome to The Hill with April Ryan. We've got a lot to cover this week, so let's get right to it. Well, that didn't last long. Kevin McCarthy's tenure as Speaker of the House has come to an end. His nemesis, Matt Gaetz, led the charge, triggering a vote to vacate the Speaker's position. Punishment for working with the Democrats to avoid a government shutdown. The continuing resolution passed over the weekend. Congress approved another 45 days to get their budget act together. Here's White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre.
There's extreme group of people in the Republican conference that is putting forth these extreme pieces of legislation that is hurting, that would hurt American families. I just talked about the 30% that they want to cut in Meals on Wheels, education, you name it. Programs that are critical to Americans across the country. That's the chaos. That's what they're trying to head us down the road. And they almost shut down the government.
Now the fight begins to find a new Speaker of the House. As the Republican infighting continues, the chances of the country staring down the barrel of another government shutdown in November goes way up. The Reverend Al Sharpton, who is celebrating a birthday this week, is taking issue with the lawsuit filed by billionaire Edward Blum against the Fearless Fund. The fund helps with funding for women of color entrepreneurs. Blum was behind the case that led to the overturning of affirmative action in college admissions in the U.S. Supreme Court recently. Sharpton says the attack on the Fearless Fund is a civil rights and political issue. He's asking the Department of Justice to look into filing a civil rights suit against Blum.
I will be approaching as president of NAN, that they should look into a civil rights lawsuit against Blum and join in on whatever legal strategy the co-founders of Fearless Funds come through with. I don't know whether they have been talking about weekend. They may go and petition for a full court of the circuit court to hear it, or they may go with going to the Supreme Court.
On Saturday, a federal appeals court issued an injunction against the Fearless Fund, barring them from issuing new grants to businesses owned by Black women and women of color. It's Banned Book Week. I'm excited, are you? Well, that's when the American Library Association puts a spotlight on censorship efforts in libraries and schools across the country. A couple of books on the list that I know I own, and I'm sure you do: The 1619 Project by Nicole Hannah-Jones and the autobiography of Malcolm X by Alex Haley. I recently caught up with the owners of Mahogany Books. They have 3 bookstores in the D.C. area, but ship books across the country. Their motto is, Black Books Matter.
Nobody gets to dictate whether we walk away taller and bolder because of our experiences. We shouldn't be just only taught that we were subservient, that we were enslaved. Can you imagine what that does to the mind and the construct of a person to always hear that? And so when we say Black Books Matter, we're talking about the full gamut of Black books, our triumphs, our trials, our thought leaders, our innovators, our the kings and queens in Egypt and Africa. We must know that. It's our right. No one gets to dictate whether we have access to that.
When it comes to banned books and schools limiting what can and should be taught about our history in schools, one organization says the Black church should be able to fill in the gap. Bishop Vashti McKenzie, the president of the National Council of Churches, says our churches and Sunday schools can step in to teach those important lessons.
If our local congregations add Black history to their Sunday school curriculum, add Black history to their Bible study, that they flash on their screens or print in their bulletins items from Black history, we can do that. Local congregations and community groups can hold read-ins where you buy and read a banned book or a book by an African-American author. When these books are banned, it hurts authors economically, but we can flip the script by purchasing banned books and marginalized books and get them on the bestseller list, move these authors and their books up the bestseller list so that they are not economically impacted by this ban on books. And understand, this is not the only place and the only time where books were banned. In Nazi Germany, books were banned and burned by those who were books that were written by our Jewish brothers and sisters.
That conversation continues online. Be sure to check out thegrio.com. And that's it for this edition of theGrio's The Hill with April Ryan. See you next time here, where we focus on the news for us and about us. Take care. Peace.